So we are talking about addiction as a disease. It starts with orientation. It goes to social use, it goes to problem use, it goes to rock bottom, where by this time this person needs help. And most of these people, we normally say one person in the family is infected, the whole family is affected. My name is Madam Terry Wachira. I am an addiction counselor, and I'm also a marriage and family therapist for many years. And this is my story. I got married quite young with my husband, to my husband Wachira, and we started a family like any other couple. Of course, since we had come from college, it was a struggle, but in God's own ways we made it, meaning tuliweza kufeed watoto, and also we got the firstborn, secondborn with a struggle, but later on he was a supervisor somewhere, and I was a secretary. I was a trained secretary. I went to Kianda Secretarial, where Kianda school stands. That's where there used to be secretarial. And I used to change jobs, and I became an executive secretary. In between this time, my husband was also a hardworking man. And we made it in the way that we bought our first car after several years down the line. And later on, we bought another car. That is when now we sat down and realized that we needed to invest in our home, where we bought a house. And I thank God today that that house is standing. And that is where my children are living. And now, as we went on higher in terms of finances, our lifestyle also changed in the sense that we started going out drinking, but not really heavy. Social use, yeah. And also we used to keep drinks in our homes. That time, during that, it's many years down the line, it used to be like the norm. The order of the day, even our friends used to have drinks in their homes. And really, and when I'm telling you this story, I'm humbled, and there's nothing grandiose about the story. I want to talk about how addiction affects people. Now, as we went on, every other Friday, my husband would take me out, or maybe let's say like twice a month, but every Sunday, we would go to church, take the children, and then later go to some place in a good hotel where the children would swim or swing. Those days there were no bouncing castles, and life went on like that. And he would take a Tusker export those days. I don't know whether it's there now, but it's half of that big bottle of Tusker. So as we were drinking, me, I was taking a soda as we were going out. And there's a time I looked at him and I saw as if there's something strange about, something nice about the drink he's having, because he would have some high, some happiness. So I took the drink and I put a few drops in my soda and I picked. Later on, I went on like that until one time I abandoned the soda. Yeah, and I felt, this is the thing to indulge in. And life went on like that. We were drinking from home. We would even, if you came to my house, I would ask you, would you like a cup of tea or soda, or even some wine? So, and I want to say this, now that I know, okay, let me go on first, because addiction comes from some place. It comes from experimental, then social use, then problem use, then rock bottom. I'll explain as we go, so that you understand that addiction does not just, it's not picked within a day. Does not just come because you have taken that drink. It comes with progression, meaning continuous use over time. Yes, thank you. The stages of addiction, you start with the experimental. That is when, maybe when you come to my house, I will tell you, maybe you can have a bit of wine. And initially, when you are having even that beer, it's bitter. Yeah, that is the stage. Even puffing a cigarette, that is, sometimes you cough and we are told, be man enough. Like I hear boys telling the other boys, That is the experimental. And then sometimes you experiment and then you just abandon it. I mean, rather, it's not in you. And after a long, long time, then you do it again, and then you do it again, then it becomes now a social use, a social habit. And a social habit, sana sana, does not destroy, even if you are taking alcohol in social circles, a social person does not even plan to drink. Yeah, he may drink because he's discussing business with his partners. Maybe one, or maybe a thought, or maybe nothing. Yeah, so it will not affect the family, neither will it affect his finances. And then we go to problem use, stage number 3. Problem use is when the priorities, the responsibilities are abandoned. Like now, rent, school fees, and even marital neglect. Because now the interest has come now, you're taking too much, or maybe you are getting late in homes. I mean, getting back to home in the evening. After work, you are passing through some place. You are taking more time with your friends and drinking more. And also, definitely some of the responsibilities that used to be financed by you will suffer. Be it school fees, be it rent, definitely. Because you see, that is a problem is where, in fact, if it is a wife, if it is a husband using, the wife has noticed something, that you are away from home for too long. Or maybe the finances are not there anymore. Or maybe the quarrels start now, that time, when now the landlord is knocking the door and then you tell your wife, you say something, lie to him that you have not even been paid. That is a problem. And in any case, already the wife is annoyed because already she can see how you are staying away from home. Definitely, your use is also being funded by that money that could have been utilized to pay rent. And then we come to rock bottom, where you have gotten warnings during the problem use stage. The problems have piled up. In fact, they have been compounded by warning letters. Maybe the boss gave you a job to do on Monday. He told you the deadline is Wednesday. In fact, you have not even touched it, and then you report that you tell someone to report that you are sick. Already, they have seen the tendencies, even at places of work, of your lateness, because you see, it goes round and round. Home, you are not happy. At work, you start saying supervisors are, wanakuonea, or they are just going against you. But they are not. They are not against you. They have seen there is something that is very bad. Something bad has happened to you. Some bad habit has cropped into you. So that is when you get those warning letters, and finally, you may lose jobs. Most of the people who are now in rehabs, most of them are, some of them are university dropouts. They could not manage to go to school. They jumped some lessons. They jumped exams, skiving. Yeah, and definitely you are not going to be afraid of the lecturers. You are going to get a warning letter, and you are going to be summoned that you must repeat those papers. So we are talking about addiction as a disease. It starts with orientation. It goes to social use, it goes to problem use, it goes to rock bottom, where by this time this person needs help. And most of these people, we normally say one person in the family is infected, the whole family is affected. But families, they do not know addiction is a disease. It affects behavior and thinking. You can tell because, the person stops those responsibilities that used to be priorities. Now they take the last banner. The responsibilities of, let's say, my spouse, my husband, or even me, the way I was drinking. I used to value buying food immediately after payday. But when I'm using this money and it is almost finished, I start picking one item instead of the whole package for the whole month. I start even lying, or even going to the nearest shopping center and buying a quota, and then the following day I'm quarreling people or my domestic staff that they are misusing sugar, which in fact yesterday I bought a quota or the day before. So the priorities changes actually. That is when you realize something is wrong. the priority which I valued most, my children education coming first, paying school fees first, paying rent, personal grooming also suffers because the person is now, the brain is twisted. The priorities, in fact, get twisted. And also the finances when they go in the pubs. When I go to the pub and I use money, definitely I'll start lying to my spouse. Even I'll start lying that I'm not paid. So now the wife will realize this person is not okay. Something is wrong. You start lying, you start being dishonest, you start being evasive. You make sure you come very late when they are asleep so that the children will not ask you questions. Maybe even they have already been given that letter that says, don't bring your children tomorrow. So the man even may disappear, even for a week or so. But besides that, even if you don't disappear, you come very late so that in the morning you have asleep so that now you are not questioned. And at the same time, those priorities that you used to hold holy, yeah, that you come in the evening, you sit with your kids, you do homework, they question you, you share what the experiences of the day has been, those time is not there. Quality time with the family is not there. Even if you are clean, because you know we have domestic staff, you have priorities that are twisted. Even the frustration comes from home because you are not the real father that you are not a committed father the way you used to be. You are not a committed worker the way you used to be at work because you have a quarrel with your supervisor, you have a quarrel in your home, you have quarrels with your children because they know that you have not paid their school fees. So it's all rounder and it has become very, very irritating. But when you see this happening, please bring this person for counseling where we do counseling because we have also resources to counsel families so that they may continue living as one family, as partners, and rebuilding the trust they had originally. My work entails, initially when we admit in the rehabs, we have a program called the 12-step program of Alcoholic Anonymous. And that program details from step 1 to 12. I'll not go through all the steps, but I'll say this, that it is to show the person when let's say someone is coming here to be admitted, or someone calls in our rehab that I have this and this person, the first thing I do is ask questions. What is this person using? How old is he? What are his behavior? Because you see, there are people whom will be a risk to admit if they are violent. We have to know how to handle him. We have to know also whether he has dual diagnosis, whether he has got another disease. If he is addicted, let's say to banging or alcohol, those are all called drugs, and even other substances. So I'll call them SUD, substance use disorder. He may have another problem like diabetes or another disease. If he doesn't, he still is welcome to come to our place. And if he is violent, then we know that we have to get to the psychiatrist nurse immediately so that he may be done detox. Yeah, detox is the medication that is injected so that he may stabilize. Because otherwise, such a person may, because of the lack of drug that night, he may be violent, he may be turned violent, even without his willing to do so. Because already the body is addicted. He may withdraw, and those withdrawals also can kill. So there is a two-way thing. He may, we are suppressing the feeling of cravings, and the other thing is that if he was like to turn, the cravings can make him turn violent, he'll be now a calm person. So those are the things we do, and then from there, we continue monitoring him. There's the assessment stage, and then we continue monitoring. There is a nurse side and then the addiction side, where we counsel them, in a group therapy. Group therapy is to show them how addiction destroyed their brain, destroyed their behavior, destroyed their relationship with the families and self. The first thing we tell them is that I destroyed myself. Yeah, I harmed myself, and now it is me who drank. It is me who will start undoing the wrongs I did. During my addiction time, I did a lot of wrongs. There are times I was told by my children I used to beat them, because when I became sober, after many years of drinking, and after we separated with my husband, I came back. I I apologized to my children and made amends to them that I am sorry, because I have to do wholesale, because there are things that we call memory lapses that I could not remember. When I was high, I did, but I could not remember the following day.